Welcome to Fantasy Sports Daily, powered by FantasyGuru.com. Monday through Friday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 9 a.m. Pacific. Ray Flowers breaks it all down for you from a fantasy sports perspective. Morning, everyone. Welcome to Fantasy Sports Daily, powered by FantasyGuru.com. I say morning, everyone, because I'm on the West Coast. Should never do that because some of you aren't on the West Coast. Some of you are on the East Coast. Some of you might be around the world. So welcome to the show here on Friday. Hope you're all doing well. I know there's a big storm headed across the United States. Take care of yourself, everyone. Be safe, be smart, do what you can to prep. Hope whatever travails headed your way or ones you could easily overcome. Our thoughts and prayers are with all of you that are going to be dealing with a rough storm this weekend. We're here to help you forget those negativities, to forget the politics, to forget the struggles with work and family and all that. We're here to have some fun and talk some sports. I'm Ray Flowers of FantasyGuru.com. This show is Fantasy Sports Daily. As you are well aware by now, I would assume, we rock and roll every day. We're approaching the 600 show here, folks. Give yourselves all a pat on the back. 600 shows is a long time. So I don't know how many of you have seen most of those, some of those. This is your first day, whatever it might be, welcome. We are Fantasy Guru. We are the largest active community in fantasy sports. We cover all the sports. We also often talk only about football and baseball in the most part. For those of you wondering, how's this guy hosting a show when he can't talk? I will reiterate what I said yesterday. I've been sick the last couple of days. I feel much better today than I did yesterday, which is 100 times better than I felt the day before, but still working a little bit on the talking thing. So bear with me if I sound like a fool like I just did. Let me try to reset here. We cover all the sports at FantasyGuru.com. You may know us for baseball and football, but we cover NASCAR, PGA, MMA, horse racing, soccer, basketball. We covered all. Did I say hockey? I think I did. I don't know. I'm rambling on here. We cover all the sports. All the major sports are covered at FantasyGuru.com. By the way, if you want to sign up for any of those products, basically everything that's not NFL or MLB is the MVP plan. So if you want PGA, NASCAR, MMA, horse racing, soccer, hockey, basketball, sign up for the MVP plan. Those sports are rocking and rolling right now over at FantasyGuru.com. We've got the football product available there. We've got the Super Bowl betting guide coming out soon. We're still covering all the sports from the fantasy perspective. My article went up on Thursday. We had Tyler Beaker on yesterday. His matchup article, his game script article, goes up today. So we're still covering football, DFS coverage, betting, of course, over at FantasyGuru.com. And then the baseball product is hot and heavy right now. Let's throw it up on the screen here. We have released the product. It is a season-long product. You all know that by now. We call it the draft guide because we always call it the draft guide, and that's kind of stupid because it's not a draft guide. It is a draft guide. It helps you to draft, but it's also a full-season product. So don't have a mistaken identity here that you think you're signing up and all you're getting is coverage for the preseason. Nope, you're getting coverage throughout the entire season of baseball over at FantasyGuru.com. We have 3 baseball products. The seasonal baseball product, which is the one we talk about here on the show most often. The betting baseball product. And the DFS baseball product. I'm part of all 3. I'll be interacting with all of you in all 3 zones this season. You can get 2 of the 3 products. You can get all 3. Get the all-in VIP plan. Get you all the baseball coverage, everything we do. For whatever baseball product you sign up for, you get access to all the articles, all the discussions, the chat rooms. Each of them have their own separate Discord room you get access to. So click the subscribe tab in the top right corner, get signed up, or send an email if you have any questions to support at FantasyGuru.com. By the way, I said this earlier, but I didn't go through my whole thing. I am Ray Flowers. You can follow me on Twitter, X, Instagram, Blue Sky, Threads, all of those places at The Ray Flowers, You can find me in Discord over at FantasyGuru.com. You can find me on this Monday through Friday show at 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. You can find me on this show Mondays, Thursdays, Fridays. On Tuesdays and Wednesdays, I'm over on SiriusXM with Jeff Manns on SiriusXM Fantasy Sports Radio. So we have you 5 days a week at 12 to 1 Eastern here on this show. You get an hour break. And then from 2 to 5 Eastern, Monday through Friday on SiriusXM Fantasy Sports Radio, you have the Elite Sports Show with Jeff Manns, and I'm with him on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. On the screen there, you can see, yes, if you're wondering what I'm talking about, because you listen to us by either going to FG and just clicking that Elite Plus tab in that toolbar at the top of the page, or if you've typed in Fantasy Sports Daily to wherever you listen to podcasts like YouTube Music or Apple iTunes or Pandora or Spotify, and just type in Fantasy Sports Daily, you can do that and find us in a podcast. There's also 3 ways to see the show live or on demand. And in those 3 ways that you can see the show live or on demand, you can also leave comments. Henry says, morning all. Ethan says, ew. You can do things like that. We'll leave comments, questions that we can address throughout the show. And it's youtube.com/@ElitePlusNetwork, Facebook.com/FantasyGuruHQ, and Twitter X @FantasyGuruSite. So on the screen now, you can see what we're going to talk about. We'll talk a little bit more about the draft guide, about what that all entails. We'll do some baseball news and notes. We've got MacKenzie, Gore, Kodai, Senga, Nick Martinez, Taylor Rogers, Willi Castro, LaMonte Wade, and Max Scherzer news to discuss. And then in about 25 minutes, it's a Friday. Every Friday, Russell Clay joins us. The month of January, as well as a little bit into February here, we'll be talking kind of a review of the rookie class, because he is our Dynasty guy over at fantasyguru.com. A review of the rookie class going position by position in football. We're talking running backs with him today. We talked running backs with him last week too. We're talking running backs again with him today. Guys like Tuten, Skattebo, Marks, Blue, Ollie Gordon, Brashard Smith, JCM, and Devin Neal. So we'll talk to Mr. Russell Clay in a bit about those guys, how they did this year, and what their Dynasty outlook is moving forward. All right, let me make an adjustment here. There we go. All right, let's talk a little bit now about the product. Again, it's over at FG, full season product, homepage, fantasyguru.com. Scroll down a little bit. You'll find the blue box. Click on the View MLB Guide tab. That takes you to the homepage. Bookmark that homepage. When we post articles, almost all of them ends up getting linked to this page. On this page, you'll see a bunch of articles that haven't been posted yet. That being said, there are still other articles that will be posted that aren't up yet. Let me say, I'm making a note right now. I just realized someone should be up there. A lot of things that aren't up there yet will be added as we go along. Basically, we'll be putting up at least an article every day till the season begins. Even when I was sick the last couple of days, we had articles going up. We had the Dynasty rankings go up the other day, yesterday. I think that's right. Was it yesterday the Dynasty? No, today's Dynasty. Yesterday was Points League. Today's Dynasty. Tomorrow is Best Ball. Scott Bonder's put together our Best Ball rankings, so those will be available tomorrow. So this week alone, we've posted Points League rankings, Dynasty rankings, Best Ball rankings. So we're trying to cover this from a variety of angles and give you what you need to be successful in 2026. I know there's some of you out there that have a unique scoring system, that have a weird setup, that, you know, we're not going to be able to address everything, right? Let's be honest about that. But we're going to get 95% of it. And to that end, we have the Points League rankings that went up today. I think it's 500 people in the Points League rankings. For the Dynasty Leagues, we had 400 people in the Dynasty League rankings posted today. We'll have, again, I think it's 265 for the Best Ball rankings, 275, something like that. It will go up tomorrow. We've already posted prior to that our on-base rankings for those of you in on-base percentage leagues. We have the power grades up. Dependability grades are up. We've also got rankings, which is kind of just fun ranking stuff. I rank best drinks and best jobs and that kind of thing. So just a fun little rankings page. So a lot of rankings. Not to mention we have the the Mixed League rankings, the AL only rankings, and the NL only rankings. Those are updated on a continual basis, daily as needed. They also have auction values for all 3 of those scenarios. And we have I'm really impressed thus far. We changed providers in the offseason. And the provider that we have now is doing a really good job. It's early, and who knows, and this thing could go to hell and all that. But like when these players get traded the next day, it's updated. So we don't have to worry about, in the old days, I used to go in and do things manually and do it by hand and all this kind of stuff. And it was a mess. So anyway, much cleaner for me. Hopefully it's cleaner for you. And hopefully it all works out moving forward. So those things are what you have had to look forward to this week and have seen, and the things you have to look forward to, including tomorrow's Best Ball rankings. A couple of articles I want to discuss before we dig into some player news. And these are the articles I talk about every year that I basically say I'm trying to put myself out of business. They are the How to Analyze a Hitter and How to Analyze a Pitcher piece. The How to Analyze a Hitter is up today. I think the pitcher piece goes up tomorrow or Sunday. So they'll both be up by the end of the weekend. These are basically, each of them is 6,000 words, something like that. And they basically are the articles, as I've said for a long time, that I have written to put myself out of a job. They are, how do we do this? They are, how do we look at a player? How do we analyze a player? What's important and we should pay attention to? What isn't important and should we ignore? They're the blueprint, if you will, to analyzing players. Because let's face it, at the end of the day, ballpark matters, lineup matters, health matters. All these things are hugely important. But really, a lot of this comes down to the skill of the players, because ultimately, this is still at the heart of it, unlike a lot of other sports. At the heart of it, it's a one-on-one battle. It's hitter versus pitcher, right? And you got to have guys on base, and let's not go nuts here. This isn't a tennis match, but it's a lot of one-on-one, and so it's really important to understand who players are. It's why we'll spend most of March doing the player profile series. That's one thing that we don't have. So don't sign up for fantasyguru.com expecting it to be, hey, here are all these player profiles like a magazine, right? We don't have 1,500 players talked about with 2 sentences a player. I don't find much value in that. I used to love it when I was a kid and everything, but at this point, do you care about Casey Schmidt? You don't care about Casey Schmidt. Like, come on. So what we do is, and this is the player profile series I've talked about. I've won a couple of awards with it. It's been a long time. It's been like a decade, but it was really unique when I started doing it. And I would like to think they're much better now. The awards process, by the way, is a little, you have to submit yourself for an award and all that. So I just don't do it anymore. But the bottom line is, what we do is the articles, instead of 2-3 sentences, which is what you're all accustomed to seeing, we do 1,200-1,300 words, maybe 1,500 words, right? So we do much more in-depth dive into the players. And these 2 articles, How to Analyze Hitters and Pitchers, basically talk about the secret sauce that goes into that analyzation, because everyone can go to Fangraphs or Baseball Reference or any website and see the numbers. The real key is putting the numbers together and creating a picture, painting a picture. Hey, Adam. Painting a picture that tells you what the story's conclusion is likely to be. We're not always right. No one is. I'm not infallible, right? But I'm pretty good at this. Okay. And I think a lot of people have shown their trust in me for years, some of them over a decade, which I greatly appreciate. And we'll get you closer to the answer than I think most places. I'll put it that way. And what I really want to do is enable you all to come up with the secret sauce yourself, right? Because it's like, look, is home run to fly ball ratio important? Yeah. Batting average of ultimate play? Sure. Launch angle? Yes. Line drive rate? Sure. Exit velocity? All these things are important. Spray charts, how often you pull the ball or hit it to right field, like all these things are important. And, it's really difficult to distill all that down in one paragraph. You can't do it in a paragraph. I can't tell you how to do that in a paragraph. I can tell you each one of those things are in a paragraph, right? But then you got 8 paragraphs to read and you're reading an article anyway. So what those 2 articles, How to Analyze a Hitter and Pitcher, attempt to do is to take all of that and distill it into, here's 5,000 words to tell you how to do this. Now go, right? And I've said it for a long time. I am really good at this. But why am I really good at this? Because I love baseball. I've loved it since I was a kid, because this is now my 25th year full-time in this industry. Because I worked in the 90s part-time. Like, I've been doing this for 30 years. And I've probably worked as long and as hard as anyone in this space. I mean, 65, 70, 75-hour weeks. I mean, I've worked 65-hour weeks my entire life. Like, if I had a 40-hour a week job, I don't know what I would do, to be quite honest. I've never had that. I think at the low point, I was probably working 60-hour weeks for 30 years. So I'm better at this than most people are, maybe just because I've done it longer. You know what I mean? Maybe some of you listening or watching right now could be better at this if you had 60 hours a week to do it. But I know a lot of you don't. And that's why you come to us at fantasyguru.com. That's why you come to me. It's because you trust me to do the work, to give you the information, and then you can make your own decision. These articles will help you to do the work if you have the time, if you have the inclination to do the work yourself. Because, it's not like I've developed we have developed some strategical formulas like the Smash Report that we've talked about. And I'm really excited about having that be a bigger part. We've tried for years to make it a bigger part of what we're doing, but to have it a bigger part of what we're doing at fantasyguru.com. And as we get closer to the start of the season, we'll talk more about that Smash Report. Basically, it's the Smash Report and the Advantage Score are 2 tools that we have invented, Jeff Manns and myself, and they're game-changing. They're unique. They're proprietary. They're massively powerful tools to help you analyze player production. but I wanted to give you the basics on how to do it. So please check those 2 articles out. I know they're kind of boring and they're long and they haven't changed much the last couple of years. They get tweaked a little bit here and there. But yeah, they're hopefully a way to teach you how to do this if you have the time or the inclination to do so. Henry says, "Fill you on what a 4-hour work week would be, Ray. We trust in Ray." Yeah, I mean, I jokingly said that to my partner. She and I were talking the other day about, I'm in my 50s now and she's in her 40s, but we're talking about, what if we changed careers? What if we moved? What if we did these things? And I'm thinking to myself, boy, if I had a 40-hour, she goes, what would you do? And I said, well, I'd go get a job, working at an animal rescue or something like that. She goes, okay, so what are you going to do with the rest of your time? And I'm thinking to myself, yeah, they probably want me working 40, 50 hours. What am I going to do with the rest of my time? And I said, boy, but I'd really pick up the reading that I've given up on here. I haven't read much in the last year and a half, and that really disappoints me. I used to read, I'd read, if 2 weeks went by and I didn't read an entire book, that was a lot. Like I would read 20, 25, 30 books a year all the time. When I was younger, I'd read a book a week. I haven't done that in like 5 years now. And it's come down to the point where it's like, I think last year I probably read 6, 7 books. That's not me. So I certainly read more, but yeah, if I could work less, ooh, man. Ethan says fantasy analysis with the rest of the time. Yeah, I probably would do fantasy analysis if I did that, Ethan. You're probably right. Probably would play more games and have more fun, but I don't mean to sound braggadocious. It's kind of sad that I spend that much time doing it. So, you got to love it. For those of you that want to get involved in fantasy sports, it's a career. You got to love it. Okay, so that's kind of where we're at with the draft guide. Remember, click the subscribe tab in the top right corner at fantasyguru.com. We're always working for you. Oh, and by the way, had another really interesting discussion this morning. Can't announce anything today, but I had a really interesting follow-up discussion. We're getting close. I hate to do this because it could be the old bait and switch. Oh, Ray, I don't think it's going to be. I think it's happening. And what that is something that's really exciting. Something that we've talked about in articles, something that we've talked about on this show, something we talked about on SiriusXM. We're getting close. I can't wait to announce it. And if it doesn't happen now, I'll still tell you what it is if it doesn't happen, because I don't want to be the kind of guy that mentions something and then doesn't tell someone for 6 months. But I think we're going to have something really exciting for y'all. So keep tuned to the show, SiriusXM here, Discord, whatever it might be. But I think we're going to have a pretty cool announcement in a couple weeks. I'm hoping by mid-February it's announced. If it's not announced by mid-February, someone remind me in Discord or the chat room here or even in Discord. Hey, Ray, you mentioned a big announcement. What was it? Because it didn't happen. Give me till Valentine's Day for the announcement, but I'm pretty excited about it. Anyway, let's dive into some of the news notes. MacKenzie Gore, who was someone that we talked about pretty positively last year and had really good run last year before a little bit of a letdown there toward the end. He's been traded to the Rangers, and he was traded for like 5 guys. This is, let me count 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 5 guys. He's traded for 5 guys, and I won't go in on this show to all those young players. By the way, our rookie reporting, it's the first week of February. Let me verify that. I'll pull up the schedule now. The rookie section of our draft guide starts dropping on February 2nd. So we'll have the history of rookie production. We'll review the 2025 rookies. We'll have the scouting reports for all the pitchers, the top level rookie pitchers in 2026. We'll have a scouting report for all the hitters. And then we'll have the top 50 rookies themselves for fantasy for 2026. That starts on February 2nd. So I won't be reviewing the guys that were in this trade because, they're not applicable to this season. But MacKenzie Gore goes to the Rangers. Interesting. Gore's had fly ball issues and home runs have been a concern, and that happens to a lot of guys that get strikeouts, throw the ball up in the zone. We know that. We'll see if the move to Houston helps or not. To Texas, helps or not. The Globe Life Park has, last couple of years been pretty tough for righties to hit home runs. And as a left-handed pitcher, if that continues, that's pretty good for Gore. Gore, by the way, is somebody that has, we've talked about him a lot. Gore was supposed to be a superstar in this league. He was the number 1 left-handed pitching prospect in baseball for a long time, a couple years at least. And he was first-round pick, 3rd overall in 2017. Lost his mechanics, had some injuries, got traded, took him a long time. Took a huge step in 2024, establishing himself last year. I don't want to say he took another step, but he improved. He upped his strikeout rate to 27%. The whip came down a little bit, still a little high at 135 because his walk rate of 9.5% is a little too high, but was unfortunate with a 325 batting average of balls in play. Has had 180 strikeouts each of the last 2 seasons. He has the ability to be the left-handed Dylan Cease, right? A guy that throws 175 innings, strikes out 200 guys, and the ratios are, they're not great, but they're fine. Winning double-digit games, and his outlook from the Nationals, where he won 5 games last year, to the Rangers this year obviously improves in the win category for those of you still using that number. So a positive overall move for Gore going to the Rangers. Another starting pitcher, Kodai Senga, according to David Stearns, I think the president of the Mets, said that they expect Kodai Senga to be ready for opening day and to be part of the rotation for the Mets. Obviously, the Mets making moves, adding a bunch of players to this team of late. I'm drawing a complete blank because I'm spacing out mentally. I know they added Luis Roberts in the outfield. We talked about that yesterday. On the hill, they added Freddie Peralta. Ray, geez. We talked about that yesterday, too. That's what happens when you get sick. But yeah, so this, Peralta's at the top of the rotation. McLean, Peterson, Holmes, Minaya, and Senga. That's 6 guys. Do they go with the 5-man? Probably. Maybe they go 6 if they want to keep some of these guys. Senga coming back from injury, Minaya coming back from injury. But Senga had a very productive season last year, but the problem obviously was that he was limited to 113 innings. And after throwing 5 innings in 2024, it's been 2 years since this guy has thrown enough innings to really matter in fantasy. Now, last year, 113 innings, he had a 3 ERA and a 1.3 whip. ERA, great. Whip, no. The strikeout rate was 29% during his rookie season. Last year was 23. So he went from a borderline elite strikeout rate as a rookie to a slightly below league average K rate in his 3rd season in the big leagues. He's 32. He wasn't a rookie anyway. We know that. Physically, if he's fine, he's going to be really good. The question is it 113 innings again? Is it 160 innings? Is it somewhere in the middle? We just don't know. So good news to hear. It's early. It doesn't matter really. But it's good to hear that they are hopeful that he'll be able to be part of this rotation here to start the season. But yeah, this is kind of a pivot point for his career because he's 32. Like I said, he's already 32 years old. It's not, he came over here as a fully grown product. He'll be 33 in a week. So, he's getting to that age where we'll kind of see here. Hopefully he's able to rekindle that strikeout success. That'll go a long way to having him be productive in the fantasy space. The Tigers are interested in Nick Perez. Nick Perez is kind of just a guy, right? He has shown the ability the last couple of years to start, to relieve. He is not somebody who misses bats, so he's kind of at the whims of the gods of batting average of balls in play and home run to fly ball ratio and his defense and all that. But he started 26 games last year. He started 16 games the year prior to that for the Reds. He'll no longer be part of the Reds, obviously, as a free agent. That's a 3.8 ERA and a 1.15 whip? Let me see. 3.83 ERA and a 1.12 whip over the last 2 years. And again, that's 42 starts and 40 relief appearances. That's a really strong swingman effort. Doesn't miss bats, 19% K rate, 70% left on base percentage. That should improve a little bit. But that 19% K rate, there's a lot of balls put in place. So the bottom line is wherever Martinez goes, a good ballpark will help. Cincinnati's not a good ballpark for pitching. A good defense will be important to him. Will he be asked to start or relieve? Really uncertain here. But there are reports that the Tigers, they're having some interest here. And you look at that rotation with the Tigers, Skubal, Flaherty, Mize, Olsen. Drew Anderson, is he their 5th starter right now? Drew Anderson? Jackson Jobe was coming back from Tommy John surgery that he had in June, so he's not going to be ready until the second half of the season, most likely. He might end up on the Tigers. And if he does, he'll probably be their 5th starter. And that's a storyline to follow for those of you drafting early. You're in the 30th round of your draft. You want to take Nick Martinez and take a shot that he ends up as the 5th starter for the Tigers. The Tigers, though, have also been talking to Chris Bassett and Jose Quintana, 2 other veterans. So Nick Martinez might get shut out by 2 other vets. Chris Bassett, probably a little bit safer bet from a team perspective and a fantasy perspective than Nick Martinez. Jose Quintana might be less expensive than the other 2. So we'll see. But the Tigers are obviously interested in adding a stable fifth starter, a veteran type that they're hoping to get on a discounted rate. The Twins signed Taylor Rogers. Who the hell cares, Ray? Not Trevor Rogers, Taylor Rogers. Make sure there's brothers. We all know that, right? And the former Giant Tyler, did I say Trevor? Tyler Rogers is now with the Blue Jays. Tyler's the submariner. You know, he almost hits the ground when he throws. He's wonderful to watch. He's a terrific pitcher. His brother Taylor is the lefty. Doesn't throw sidearm at all. Low three-quarter, that kind of thing. He's 35. You know, he's been with the Twins before, and you hear to yourself, who cares? A 1 year, $2 million deal. Whoopie-doo. Did he pitch well last year? No. He was just kind of league average. So why am I talking about him? Who's the closer of the Twins? Is it Taylor Rogers? Stupid, I know, right? But Taylor Rogers does have 2 years of 30 saves. Oh, and by the way, those 2 years of 30 saves, one of them came while he was a pitcher for the Minnesota Twins, who he pitched for years. So we'll see. I mean, he's a lefty and he has that experience. And so Justin Topa is probably his main competition right now. Maybe Cole Sands. Cody Funderburk is there too, but he's also a lefty. So there's $1 year, $2 million does not say closer, but Taylor Rogers is in the mix to close for the Twins. Even if he's not the closer, he's in the mix to close because none of these other guys have experience as closers. So definitely, if you're in a draft tonight, don't take Nick Martinez in the 30th round. Take Taylor Rogers in the 30th round. That is definitely something that could pay off. Again, we talked about this on the show yesterday. February 1st, we'll drop our closer grid. Our expectations for the closers, that's when that'll come out over at fantasyguru.com. Not rankings per se, but kind of rankings. We'll have that available on February 1st. Another move by a former player of the Twins is Willi Castro. Signed a 2-year deal, $12.8 million with the Rockies. And this deal was announced a long time ago. It became official yesterday. I don't think we ever talked about it here on the show, so I wanted to bring it up. The 28-year-old infielder who will qualify at second base, outfield, and third base in every league because he played more than 20 games in all three of those positions last year. Also played 5 games at shortstop. Shouldn't qualify at shortstop. I know there's some places he'll qualify at shortstop, but the bottom line is at least 3 positions, if not 4. And all you have to do is look back at 2023 to see 33 steals and get kind of excited about what could happen. You then look at 2024, and he only stole 14 bags this year, but he had 89 runs scored and hit 12 home runs. And you look at his career, and, you know, it's not a standout skill set here. And it's not a standout career by Willi Castro. But he's on the Rockies. And though we talk a lot about home runs in Colorado, remember the outfield is huge in Colorado. So it's very reasonable to think that Castro could produce the best batting average of his career. And it may be 270, right? Okay. He may hit 10 to 12 home runs. Who cares? He might drive in 50 runs. Who cares? He could score 75 plus runs, right? Because it's not like the Rockies aren't going to play him every day. And that's been the one thing with Castro, in and out of the lineup, this position, that position, all that kind of stuff. Like, I don't know where he's going to hit, but there's a chance Willi Castro hits first or second. There's a chance. He might end up hitting 7th or 8th, which would kind of, kapooey all of this into some respect. But if Willi Castro hits first or second, he could score 85, 90 runs. And if he's playing every day and healthy, he should be able to steal 25 bases. So we could be looking at a 10-25 guy hitting 275 with 90 runs scored. Who really cares, as they're all very basic numbers? But remember, he qualifies at 3 positions. 3. So keep a really close eye on with the batting order discussion with Willi Castro. If he can sneak into that top 2, it becomes really exciting. We're a few moments away from talking to Russell Clay here. Some rookie football stuff. LaMonte Wade signed with the White Sox. He's got a legitimate chance to see some significant at-bats against right-handed pitching. Was a really good on-base percentage guy until last year where he just forgot how to hit. So keep an eye on him in AL-only leagues. There's a potential for 400 at-bats with a really solid on-base percentage. Again, last year, though, was disastrous. And then finally, Max Scherzer was considering signing with the Giants because he's friends with Tony Vitello, the new manager. But the Giants got Adrian Hauser and Tyler Mahle. We'll see how that works out. I would have loved to see Max Scherzer. Hey, we had Justin Verlander last year. Might as well add Max Scherzer this year. But the bottom line is Scherzer says he's healthy. He wants to pitch this year. He may wait until after opening day to sign. He may wait until some team has an injury, some team has a need, and do that versus signing in the preseason. So don't forget completely about Max Scherzer on draft day. At the same time, he's not a recommended addition right now. We don't know how many starts he's going to be physically able to make. We don't know what team he's going to be making those starts for, but he does plan to pitch in the upcoming season. So we will keep an eye on the reports with Max Scherzer. Though again, it may be something where no one drafts him. The season begins. Someone gets hurt in the first week of the season, and then we get our answers. So it might be a long wait with Max Scherzer. Okay, it's a Friday. And on Fridays, we talk to our main man, Russell Clay. Russell Clay is one of our football analysts over at fantasyguru.com. He's our Dynasty League lead at fantasyguru.com. He updates the Dynasty League rankings for fantasy football on Wednesdays. He has his TikTok discussion on Wednesdays with all y'all, going through the players, saying, what do you think? And then he basically ignores everything you all say because he's a dictator. But he has a discussion with you at least. He's opening the floor up to having the discussion with you all. And then he comes on to continue that discussion with us on Fridays here on Fantasy Sports Daily at 12:30 Eastern Standard Time. So let's welcome in Russell J. Clay of fantasyguru.com. How you doing, Russ?
What's going on, Ray? You described that so well. I allow you to say what you have to say, and then I say, no, stop it.
And where is that? It's on TikTok, Russ J. Clay. Where do people find it?
TikTok on Wednesdays. Try to go live around 5 to 7 p.m. So keep an eye. Eye.
Yeah, and he's with us every Friday having fun here. And we've been going since he is our Dynasty League guy, our expert there, we've been kind of reviewing the youngsters, the rookies, and we're talking the second half of the rookie discussion. So again, if you want to go look at previous episodes, we've already talked quarterbacks and the top half of the running back class with him. Today, we'll do another look at the running backs. And we're going to look at how these rookies did in 2025, Russ, and what your projection is for them now moving into 2026. And let's start out with Bhayshul Tuten. And this is a really interesting scenario because they made a trade. They got rid of Bigsby in season to the Jaguars. ETN may or may not be signed. I mean, there's theoretically a path for Tuten to be the starting running back for the Jaguars in the coming season. How do you assess this year where he didn't see the field much? And what are you thinking in 2026 for him at this moment?
So this did feel like the last hurrah for Travis Etienne. He's been with Trevor Lawrence since 2017. And Liam Cohen came in. They had him on the last year of his deal. It felt like they just gave him the nod and said, all right, Travis, one more year for you. I do think he's going to be gone this off season. So it's gonna be a new shape. Did Tuten do enough to warrant being the full-time starter and them committing to him next year? I don't think so. But I mean, his athleticism is all the way up, right? And when we're looking for guys who can, so there's the Hampton, Genty, Henderson thing where I have like, all right, we need 1,500 plus yards in 3+ seasons for me to even think this is fine. Right. And then there's Tuten where, Ray, if he has one season with 1,100 yards, that where did you get him in rookie drafts? Mid-second, third round? Like, that's a win. So I feel like we're setting up for this to be a win. I would give his rookie year a B. Okay. Because he did have some fumble issues, but and this is where I sort of shift, like, best ball versus a start sit league. Is Bhayshul Tuten ever gonna be more than a handcuff? I don't know, but I do know if you're in Dynasty, if you drafted Tuten, he's worth more now than he was in the rookie draft.
This next running back would have been the guy this year, but he got hurt. Cam Skattebo. Reports strongly suggest he'll be healthy by the start of next season, recovered from his leg injury. They've got Tracy there as kind of the potential third down back, speed guy. Skattebo is the goal line back, first and second down guy, though he did show a pretty impressive ability catching passes this year as well. Where are we at with the youngster who was injured this season? Performed very well for a Giants team that's obviously ascending with Jackson Dart, the return of Malik Neighbors, and a new head coach in Mr. Harbaugh.
So this is really where the depth of this 2025 running back class is coming into play here. I wasn't a huge Skattebo guy from a on-field perspective, and then he comes in 600 yards and 7 touchdowns in what was basically 7 games. It says 8 in the box score, but we know what happened in that final game. I mean, this guy was unbelievable in his short time there. So the only problem is the last time we saw him, his ankle was turned the wrong way, Ray.
It really would look gross. Yeah.
So he is 23, about to turn 24, should be the starter there. I mean, he's going to be a fan favorite. Cannot sustain too many more injuries like that, though. And the problem is he going to change his play style? And then if he does, is he going to be the same player? So we don't want to take the fight out of the dog here.
Right.
But I mean, it's great depth for this class. I just don't know if this lasts more than 3 or 4 years.
Russell Clay, fantasyguru.com. He joins us every Friday. We talk football. Today we're talking running backs. You're a big proponent of history, and you write and talk about this all the time, and how when players are drafted, especially at the running back position, there's a long history saying that the later we get in the draft, not only do you have less chance of success, that you fall off a cliff. And, when you look at Woody Marks, he's taken in the 4th round. What's the expectation historically for a 4th rounder? Is it the hope that they become a regular in the NFL? Is that, the hope they catch 12 passes? Like, is there kind of a hope for the 4th rounder in general? And then secondarily, Woody Marks got all the work in the second half of the season and did nothing with it. Is that him? Is that the team?
Yeah.
Talk us through 4th rounders and then him in particular.
So raw volume wise, this was a huge win of a season, right? 900 total yards, featured in a playoff game, over 100 yards in a playoff game. So overall, this is a huge win for a 4th round pick that, there's a lot of rumors swirling about Joe Mixon, but I don't think the Texans envisioned Marks being a featured guy when they drafted him. They viewed him as a complimentary piece. So do they bring someone in? I believe so. But again, another running back in this draft class that we say, wow, I guess he started this year. So I would give this a B+, A- for him this year.
Okay.
But with the context, he's a 4th rounder, not with he was a great fantasy asset this year. You probably got a few good starts out of him, but yeah, I mean, Ray, you kind of set it up perfectly. It was what it was this year for Woody, And
4th rounders historically, like, this is a great season for a 4th rounder, right? And it's like you said, for the fantasy perspective, even when he's averaging 17 touches down the stretch, he had 2 games at 10 points. Like, this is about as good as it gets most times for a 4th rounder. Is that fair?
Yeah. And where do we go from here? We see sometimes when these 4th and 5th rounders come out, they do have a good year. Think of like Alfred Morris, who, with those Washington teams last decade, came in rookie year, huge season, and then, slowly kind of tapered off. Same with Pacheco, right? Pacheco kind of blew up, and then it's tapered off as we've gotten to see more of him. So I like Marks, but again, what we've talked about this before, what they've used him as is the opposite of what I thought he was.
Jawar Jordan, by the way, I think was a 26-year-old, and he wasn't a rookie because he was drafted last year, I believe. But I mean, is anything there?
He looked good.
Yeah.
In the little snaps I saw, he looked more explosive than Marks did. Does that look different if he's getting 20 touches a week? Sure. But I don't know that there's much with Jordan, but someone's got to get the snaps in Houston.
He was their 6th round pick in 2024. So he was really good for a 6th round pick. Let's talk a little bit about Dallas here. Over at fantasyguru.com, we were extremely bullish on Jayden Blue. And it didn't happen. It just didn't happen. And the reason it didn't happen is because Javonte Williams, who you and I talked about multiple times this year, became the old Javonte Williams after not looking like him after serious knee injury. Like, that's a really great story. A great guy who worked through it, who looked like his career was trashed by the injury, then somehow found his previous form and had a fantastic season. It makes all the sense in the world for the Cowboys to bring him back. But as of right now, he's a free agent. So as of right now, Jayden Blue might be the number one back on this team. Now, they didn't even have him. They were having him be a healthy scratch all year. So it's like, did he do stuff away from the field? We don't know anything of the storyline there. How do you assess Jayden Blue's performance this season overall? Because it's like, was never really given a chance. And then he was in week 18, got in the end zone, looked pretty good, had some nice run. Like, I think that guy is there, but the Cowboys just didn't use him this year.
The biggest problem for Blue this year was I don't think I know Jerry Jones expected a Super Bowl, but I don't think any of us were expecting the offense to be this good this year. And the Pickens-Lamb thing worked really well. And then they were getting off to a pretty solid start. And then they just said, we're going to go with the vet for the rest of the season. So it was a redshirt year for Blue. Essentially, I don't think it's a total knock on him, but 5th round pick, you mentioned Williams is gone. That doesn't necessarily mean they're going to go to Blue. They could bring somebody in. So he's going to have a lot of competition, but talent's clearly there. So we'll see. But yeah, this is a dicey year 1 to year 2 for Blue. He's got to go there. So we can't have the red shirt and not emerging in year 2, 3.
If you wanted to add him in a dynasty league, what are you paying to get him?
Oh, this is if you're still a Blue guy, this is a great time. 3rd rounder max. You should be able to snag him.
Russell Clay at fantasyguru.com. He joins us every Friday at 12:30 Eastern Standard Time. You can follow him on Twitter X at Russell J. Clay. Next story to talk about is another situation where there was hope and hype, and it just didn't happen. And then there was the debate. Is it this guy or is it the other guy? Devon Achane's not a big guy. We knew he was going to have a big workload. Yeah. He had a great season, played all the time. Like, he did things this year that have to make you nervous in the future because he had a ton of work and all that. Is it Jalen Wright who's the backup? Well, it's Ollie Gordon. Then it was Jalen Wright. Then it was Ollie Gordon. Then it was Jalen Wright. How do you assess Ollie Gordon this year? Because, again, he's a 6th rounder, but there was a lot of preseason hype. There was a lot of expectation that he'd be the number 2 guy, and it didn't look like he was. It really looked like Jalen Wright was ahead of him most of the year.
So it was a funny running back depth chart there because I'm a Jalen Wright guy, and we had the Jalen Wright guys and the Ollie Gordon guys, and then neither of us won, and we were all just kind of staring at the handcuff grid every week. So new coaching staff now.
Yep. Huge difference.
I'm very curious. I got to look into that deeper and maybe lean on the staff's analysis of the new coaches there, because I haven't looked too deeply into it yet. But that's going to be one of the first things we should look at is this new coaching staff, who fits there. I love Jalen Wright from Mike McDaniel's system.
Right.
Maybe they need a guy like Ollie Gordon for the new system that's going to be in there. So very curious how that plays out. But yeah, it's HN there. No matter what they're running, it's going to be HN. So it's going to be handcuff. But yeah, my boy Jalen Wright, looking like we're going to have to wait out this rookie deal.
Yeah, and that's a huge point that you brought up. And just to reiterate something we've mentioned on the show many times, Russ, say again, your thoughts on you're in a dynasty league. And we're getting questions daily. Still, people are still making trades and all that. And every time someone talks to me and asks a question, I say, who's the head coach? Who's the offensive coordinator? Who are they going to sign in free agency? Who are they going to draft? Like, I know people love football and they want to play 365 days a year. But to me, it seems really dangerous to be making player trades right now. As an example, with this Miami offense, Jalen Wright and Ollie Gordon, neither one may even make the team. Like, it's for all we know, right? So talk to us. Should people be trading right now, making moves in dynasty leagues?
So I used to blindly draft guys, and in some ways I still do. And I just say, all right, I'm going to draft this guy. And I didn't really think too much about coaching because I just had all right, this guy's in this draft round. And some of the time I'm right? And some of the time I'd get these situations where a new coaching staff comes in and it works out amazing for the player. But then, as I've evolved and kind of looked at this a different way, it's like, okay, these coaching staffs are a massive deal. This is a massive, huge deal. So before we even look at redraft or handcuff for next year, we have to know who these guys are and what they're looking for. Because, if they're doing a totally different system and it's just you need a workhorse, then Jalen Wright's not going to be that guy. It's going to be Ollie Gordon. So, yeah, that's really important. And our staff does a great job of breaking all that down. So stay tuned for our draft guide this offseason, right?
Oh, look at that. Upselling the product. I love it, Russ. Upsell us on Brashard Smith. And this is a scenario where Isaiah Pacheco, he's a fine NFL running back, but he's not the answer. Kareem Hunt, come on, man. Like Kareem Hunt, I jokingly, there's 300-pound linemen that are faster than Kareem Hunt. Like, that's just how it is, right? And then you got Brashard Smith, who didn't have any draft capital because he was a 7th-round draft pick. And I'm not saying Brashard Smith deserves to be a starting running back in the NFL or anything like that. But compared to those other two guys, I'm very surprised that he didn't at least get more run on the field. There was a brief moment there for a couple of weeks where he was looking like the passing down back for this team, and then it just ended. So where are we at right now with Brashard Smith, who seemingly had a chance last year for a bigger opportunity, and they just went with 2 vets that didn't have it?
So as annoying as this was for me, I do think the Chiefs are happy with what they got out of him last year. And the NFL teams love a guy like Jaylen Noel is the same thing this year. They get a special teamer. They get this guy who can play some snaps on offense. They're pumped. So they had a punt returner, kick returner, and a guy who could play 20% of the snaps on a weekly basis. So real NFL, they're pumped with this 7th-round guy who, most of those guys get cut instantly.
Right.
But yeah, my excitement for him being a fun player ended there. This was not a redraft guy, or really, I don't even know if he's going to be a dynasty guy. I like what I saw, but yeah, there's no guarantee here. I mean, he's still a fringe dynasty roster guy, and I'm almost sure they bring someone in, Ray. I don't know what you think, but they can't run the Kareem Hunt thing back again.
No, I mean, they could keep Pacheco around, right? And they could keep, the problem is that they keep Pacheco around, he's the 2. They keep Smith around, he's the 3, and then they add that. So Smith's role is the same as it was this year. They can't bring Kareem Hunt. I mean, they could bring Kareem Hunt back. Here's $1 million. You want to be on the team, but they can't feature him the way they did this year because it just, it's plotting, man. I mean, he's horrible. He's Ezekiel Elliott at the end of his career. It's like, he can score a touchdown, but So they've got to add somebody, and they have a lot of. I mean, they're the whole team, right? When's Mahomes going to be back, and changing OCs and Kelsey, and also they got a lot of decisions to make there. And Kansas City this offseason, but I agree with you, they got to do something in the backfield. Russ Clay at FantasyGuru.com. The Commanders season was a mess. Lots of injuries. Yeah. And, when your franchise player doesn't play, it's very difficult. At times, it looked like Chris Rodriguez had emerged as the lead running back of this team. At times, it looked like Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, Bill had emerged as the lead running back of this team. Some people seemingly are very excited about JCM. He was a 7th-round pick this year, so his season was spectacular given the draft capital. Did you see enough from him to think that he's actually going to be the lead back this year, or is this another organization where you feel like they're bringing in some competition?
I would think they scrap this entire roster beyond McLaurin, right, Ray? I mean, even when Jayden was in there, this just soured like milk from the previous year. Teams kind of figured out the system, and it was bad. I love Jayden Daniels, and I'm super high on his future, but they need some juice there beyond McLaurin. And McLaurin proved his point, I got to say. I was like, they'll be fine. And they weren't fine at all. Bill, hey, almost 900 yards as a seventh rounder. Hell yeah. I don't know that they take him seriously as like the guy in the future, but could he be a lead back for the next couple of years? Kind of like Pacheco. I could see that happening, but yeah, this isn't a guy that like, I'll give him an A for his rookie season, but yeah, I don't know that this is someone who they commit to long-term. Now, what's the upside here? Like, we want to say that the Austin Eckler lane, but Eckler was always a great receiver,
right?
And that's where he walked into the NFL, and Bill wasn't really a receiver at all this year. So yeah, I'm a little dubious about his future, but respect to him.
So if you have him, hold him. If you don't have him,
yeah,
don't make a move to get him, kind of thing.
Playing with crazy house money if you got him. So yeah.
Saints have no money to spend. In fact, they're in trouble. I think they're finally going to have to pay the piper for about the last 9 years somehow, always skirting the salary cap. Team is not exactly full of offensive talent. And at the backfield position, Alvin Kamara, they some reason didn't put him on the injured list at the end of the year. He's the face of the franchise right now. We expect him to be back, but diminishing returns obviously at this point. Devin Neal was supposed to be the guy, but then Kenry Miller was there, and then Kenry Miller got hurt, and then Kamara got hurt, and then Neal got hurt.
Yeah.
Devin Neal, anything here? What do we got?
Yeah, a fun NFL player. He'll be around for a few years. And again, running back at this point, Ray, it's a tough business for all these guys because I don't think the Saints are going to commit to him at all. But, in that one game where he did get featured, I thought he looked pretty good. And then he got hurt.
Right.
So
scored 2 touchdowns his last 2 games, Russ. Come on.
I don't think Kellen Moore is going to be a guy who wants to run a one-back system. So they're probably going to be looking for 2-3 guys to throw in there next year. But like you said, they're a little leveraged right now with what they can do. So if they don't bring someone in, are they going to run back the Kamara thing? Seems like that was his last year, but he doesn't want to leave. So I'll give Neal a C- for his rookie year. And I like the player, but tough.
I think $3 million of his $11 million salary is guaranteed, Kamara. So
okay,
there's some money there, but not really. Devin Neal, Brashard Smith. If you had to choose one, really fair question to ask you, but if you had to choose one, which way would you go?
I'd go Smith because that was the guy I was committed to, and I like the Chiefs upside. They brought Bieniemy back. When was the last time the Chiefs had good running back production? Was with Bieniemy. So I like that. But yeah, Smith's more fun.
Yeah, I think so. I agree with you. Adam's got a question here. And again, if you're watching the show in one of 3 places live, you can ask questions and comments. That's youtube.com/Elite Plus Network, facebook.com/FantasyGuruHQ, and Twitter X @FantasyGuru site. And Adam asked the question, he's in a Dynasty League, 12 teams. How many rounds would you recommend? He says rookie draft here. So it's the rookie draft we're talking about. In a 12-team league, how many rounds would you recommend for the rookie draft? We did 3 last year, and then there was a massive free-for-all on the waiver wire. As a commissioner, that didn't feel great.
Oh.
My experience has been rookie drafts are 6 rounds. What would you say? Is 3 rounds enough? Should it be more? Do you agree with Adam? You made an sound like something clicked for you there, Russ.
So I like 3 rounds because it gives the waiver wire some juice. I'm all about giving the waiver wire juice and having that be, I like having there being a waiver run coming up and there's guys on there. I remember a few years ago, Puka Nacua was not necessarily drafted in 3-rounders.
Right.
And then if you didn't have open waivers, like I think that's what Adam's talking about,
Right.
where people were just going in first come, first serving. I agree with that, Adam. I wouldn't do that. But if you do a 3-rounder and then maybe wait a month or two till training camp and have a fab run where everyone has waivers, that makes the waiver wire valuable. That makes that fab valuable. And it can be a fun part of the offseason that, let's be honest, Ray, after the draft and after rookie drafts, there's not, it's kind of a dead period beyond trades. So any way to make there to be an event where people look forward to it, I'm for. So yes, no more first come, first serve, but make it 3 rounds and make people pay for the waivers.
Again, I've done 6 rounds, so that's I would do the rounds probably, but the fab thing is fun. It's great. I would completely agree with Russ to reiterate what he said there. We don't have the draft ending on a Thursday and then we run waivers on Monday. Like we're then waiting until training camp or something like, so then we can get the excitement of, Alvin Kamara got released. So now, that kind of stuff. So yeah, no league should ever be a free for all ever.
Yeah.
You can't do that until in season. You run your waivers on Wednesday night. You have free for all Thursday morning or something like, okay, fine, after the fab run, but you can't at any point in the off season have the waiver wire open in a dynasty league. You can't do that because then it's whatever Jamoke hears the news, runs to his phone, and boom, right? So you can't, right?
And we've both been on both sides of that, where we are the guy,
yeah,
and then we're not the guy,
yeah,
and even if you are the guy who gets all of them, you kind of feel like
did you really win, or are you just a loser that are on your phone all day, right? Like,
yeah.
He's Russell Clay of FantasyGuru.com, and I think that's good too, Adam and everybody. And you said it, Russ. I'm a big fan of fab, and at the very minimum, you have to do waiver wire priority. I don't like waiver wire priority. I think fab is the right way to do it. But the open waiver wire stuff that some people have, what a mess.
It's a mess, yeah. Complete mess.
What do you got coming up here the next couple of days? The rest of the week here at FantasyGuru.com. Anything?
Yeah, so we have the live stream on Tuesday evenings and the roster review / dynasty ratings update on Wednesdays, and that is I'm looking forward to the pretty big playoff games this weekend, Ray.
Yeah.
In terms of the future of the NFL, is Drake May going to be in a Super Bowl in year 2? So I'll be watching those games pretty closely. I know Tyler did a pretty good breakdown of the slate there, so maybe throwing in some live bets, hopping in the man's cave. That is
always fun.
That's been fun to watch the slot machine during some of these games. So yeah.
Jeff is often in there talking to people. Most people are good. Some people are not.
Yeah. I mean, it's a good mix in there, but it's wild. Yep.
One thing we always get here is good reporting in our room. We never get any ass hats in our room here on the show, which I always appreciate all of our listeners and viewers and all that for being positive. So thank you yet again for doing that. Russ, have a great weekend. Enjoy those games. We'll visit with you next Friday. Stay out of trouble this weekend, okay?
All right, we'll do, Ray.
Head over to fantasyguru.com. Click the subscribe tab in the top right corner. If you have any questions about any of the products, football, baseball, basketball, hockey, NASCAR, PGA, MMA, soccer, horse racing, any of that, send an email to support@fantasyguru.com and get the baseball product. It's live, updating daily right now. We drop Dynasty League rankings, Points League rankings, and the best ball rankings come out tomorrow. For Russell, I'm Ray. It's been Fantasy Sports Daily, powered by fantasyguru.com.